Hey everyone, welcome to the House Skills channel. Today, we're talking about the wall of awful. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by a task, trying to get started but not get anywhere, or try to do anything other than starting that one task that needs to get done? If so, this video is for you. Today, we're going to explore the wall of awful that can help you reduce the emotional barrier to starting tasks that we either often fail at or have failed at in the past. For example, like organizing my personal email inbox with thousands of unread messages, or starting a major decluttering project in my living room that I meant to start months ago, or preparing for a big presentation when I'm terrified of public speaking. The wall of awful is the emotional barrier that prevents us from engaging in activities that we often fail at or have failed at in the past. First, to overcome the wall of awful, it is important to understand the why behind emotional barriers. For example, 1. What is the emotion I am feeling and how can I invite myself to feel it? 2. Why does this feel like a barrier for me and what is the reality of the situation? 3. How will I show up for myself to move past this? By reflecting on these questions, we can better process and understand our emotions. We can overcome the wall of awful by putting a door in it or putting handholds in it. By putting a door in it, we are changing our emotional state because the wall of awful is made of emotions. If we can get past the emotions inside of us, we can get to the task at hand. We can do that by following these steps. 1. Think about all the times you were successful instead of the few times failed. 2. Pair a task with something you enjoy. For example, music or your favorite coffee drink. 3. Give a time limit. For example, commit to 5 to 10 or do a Pomodoro. 4. Make it a novel experience. For example, working from a new place, such as a coffee shop, or if you work from home, a different room or outside. And 5. Exercise. Our brains get flooded with dopamine after we exercise, and we can ride that dopamine wave into the next task in order to build momentum. The second way we can overcome the wall of awful is putting handholds in it. By putting handholds in our wall of awful, we are creating strategies that will work for us in those wall of awful moments. We can do that by following these steps. 1. Pay attention to how long things actually take. We tend to overestimate things that we don't enjoy. The next time you tackle that task, remind yourself that it is temporary and will only really take X amount of time to prevent putting off the task. 2. Plan out what you're going to do before you do it by setting smaller goals, more obtainable goals. For example, instead of, I'm going to check my email, say, I will respond to 5 emails. 3. Define done before starting in order to shift from an all or nothing mindset. 4. Allow time for transitions. Transitions help us settle into a task and think about how we're going to set ourselves up for defining an attainable goal, establishing what done looks like, stress-reducing strategies if needed. And 5. Reflect on how things have gone. Reflecting helps us establish what strategies we need for next time, saving time when we do it next. Now let's see how this works in real life. We'll follow along as we look at an example of overcoming the wall of awful. A software engineer at a tech company is faced with developing a critical new feature. There are tight deadlines, high expectations, and initial attempts reveal many setbacks. The software engineer is feeling self-doubt, frustration, and overall doom. They try the wall of awful strategies to push through. First, they acknowledge why they are feeling this way. In the past, they have gotten constructive criticism that they need to take more ownership over impactful projects and complete their work in a quicker time frame. This brings up negative emotions of past failures and pressure to perform better this time around. In order to overcome the wall of awful, the software engineer taps into a couple different strategies. First, they break down the task into smaller, more manageable tasks. This way, they can experience wins and success along the way and define what done looks like before starting a portion of the task. To make things more enjoyable, they also pair some of their coding work with listening to their favorite music and enjoying a nice cup of coffee. Finally, they build in breaks. For each task, they build in a time limit so that they have opportunities to reflect and refresh. All right, to recap our top 3 takeaways. Point 1, the wall of awful is an emotional barrier that prevents us from engaging in activities that we often fail at or have failed at in the past. Point 2, by putting a door in the wall of awful, we're changing our emotional state because the wall of awful is made of emotions. If we can get past the emotions inside of us, we can get to the task at hand. And point 3, by putting handholds in our wall of awful, we're creating strategies that will work for us in those wall of awful moments. Let's make the wall of awful less scary. At the start of the week, identify what tasks may invoke the wall wall of awful, create a plan of what strategy you will use when you start that task, whether it is putting a door in the wall of awful or putting handholds in it. Thank you for joining me today. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more helpful content. Excited to connect with you next time.